Welcome to the Family Geekery Podcast, a podcast for geeks from a family of geeks. We talk about comics, video games, and anything else geeky. I'm Amber.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Chris.
And this is our first official week of RetroSeptembo.
Yep.
Bringing it back.
And we're going to be talking about Sega Genesis arcade ports today. Got a couple games.
Can't wait. It's my favorite time of the year. We got pumpkin spice stuff showing up in the stores. And we got RetroSeptembo.
Oh, yeah.
Best time.
Got some of the leaves are changing, too.
Yeah, but they're also falling.
It's that weird time of the year where you walk outside with a bunch of jackets on in the morning, and then in the nighttime.
I can't relate to that.
Then it's 80 degrees.
Yeah. It's chilly in the morning. But first...
Geeky Weeks.
Nice. Who's going to kick off the Geeky Weeks? Amber?
Sure. I started watching The Traitors Season 3. And man, this season is probably the most chaotic season that there has been, because I think the traitors are not very good at being traitors, and they are betraying each other like a lot. So it's looking like this season's gonna be an easy win for the faithfuls. But getting, finishing up this season so that next season 4, when it comes out, I can start watching it, because there's a lot of people on that season I want to watch for. So unfortunately, all my favorite people on this season got knocked out like immediately.
Oh no.
Like, it's not a huge spoiler because this season's been out for like a year or so now, but Wells, the bartender from Bachelor in Paradise, he was on it, and then they voted him out the first time. They thought he was a traitor immediately, and he's like, guys, I'm not. But that's pretty much all I've been doing, I think.
Cool. I'm sure something else will pop up eventually.
Maybe.
All right. How about you, Danny?
I've been just doing some TV watching. I started the show on Prime called The Summer I Turned Pretty, which has been out for a while, but they came out with season 3, so I'm catching up. And the knockoff Netflix version came out with season 2, which is called My Life with the Walter Boys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just finished season 2. So, those both pretty good. And then we got Dancing with the Stars coming up.
Oh, yeah.
They released the cast, so I'm excited to start that.
Who's your early pick? Who's your early favorite?
I'm excited to see the mom from Girl Meets World, Topanga.
Yeah.
Daniela.
I hope
the mom.
The so mom from Girl Meets World.
That's so funny to hear. She was the kid, and
I watched both. I watched both. I like Boy Meets World better. So, Topanga.
Let's go tell them you're not. You're not. Sorry. I hope she dances to some Sabrina Carpenter.
Farkle is in My Life with the Walter Boys.
Oh.
I don't like his character, but that's okay.
He's also going to be in that new movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That new movie.
I forgot what it was called.
But yeah, that's about it for me. Just watching TV.
Cool. Well, I think I only saw one movie this week, and we went to see The Roses, and it was good. An adaptation or retelling of War of the Roses, which is, I think, back in the 90s or something. But it was a good. Could have been funnier, but it was a good all-around movie. Great cast, of course. And then other than that, I got to go to King's Dominion on Saturday.
Whoop whoop.
Ooh.
Yep. Took them up on their offer for, season pass for super cheap. And it's been, we took last year off, so it's been a while since I've been there, and they got a new roller coaster there called Rapterra, and it's the fastest or tallest or longest, which I'll have to look at those again. I'm pretty sure it said longest launch winged coaster. And I think if you take any given roller coaster and put enough adjectives on it, it's going to be the fastest
The
or
best.
the longest or the best.
Right.
Because that's
The
awfully
fastest was
specific.
4 rows and not 6 rows. Like.
But it was quick. If this is the longest one, then other ones must be really short, because it's only, I don't know, maybe a minute long or something like that. But it's good. It's very, so it's supposed to be like a bird. So it's supposed to simulate the flight of a bird. So it's very, you go on the launch, you take off, and then you just kind of like, float around and stuff. So it's not jerky. It's not too crazy, not too many crazy G's or anything. It's just very smooth, just kind of soaring around the park, I guess. But it's fun.
Soaring.
Found
It's
out
not
that
volcano though.
I have to sit in row 3. It's not. They don't have the disclaimer above them that says "big dudes sit in row 3." But I sat in row 2, and they're like, "No, you're not sitting here." I'm like, "You're gonna make me do
They
the
should
walk.
put a sign up.
You're gonna make me do the walk of shame?" And they're like, "No, we're just gonna kick the people out of 3, make them sit up here." I'm like, "Okay." So kudos to the female that was running the ride, who kicked the people out of row 3 to let me sit in it so that they could put the people into row 2.
Wow.
But much more comfortable.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. But I had a good time there. They have all their decorations starting to appear for Halloween Haunt. So we'll get to check that out here pretty soon.
Awesome.
But that was about it. That and just finishing up season, was it 2 of Ozark, I think. And it gets crazier every episode.
Wow.
Yep. So let's get right into the topic here. We're talking about arcade ports or arcade conversions for the Sega Genesis. And if you recall from last week, when we did the overview of the Sega Genesis console, that one of the big selling points was that you're finally going to get arcade sound and graphics at home, and some of the games that you play in the arcade are going to look pretty darn close, in your own living room. So we kind of covered that last week. If you missed our kickoff week for RetroSeptembo, go ahead and go back and check that one out. Episode 161, talking all about the Sega Genesis and how it sits in the hierarchy of home consoles. But
Well, here's a quick question for you.
sure.
So does that mean the Sega Genesis put arcades out of business?
So I would say it didn't help, but the arcade at this time was always evolving. So if you think about the controller that we had on this, I showed you the controller for Sega Genesis being
Yeah.
3 buttons, which was a bump up from the 2-button, NES controller, which was a bump up from the 1-button controllers before the NES. They just put more buttons in the arcades. So fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, required like 5 and 6 buttons. And by putting those kinds of games in the arcades, they also made it very important for head-to-head. Before everything was like playing Pac-Man or Donkey Kong, you're playing against the machine. But now that you could play these things at home, it makes perfect sense to play a one-player game at home. But
But a multiplayer game.
in the arcades, yeah, they started having all the fighting games and stuff like that,
Okay.
and everything kind of evolved. Whether it was the interface or the graphics or the technology or the interactivity, and I'll show you a little bit of that when we look at one of these games or a couple of these games that that we ported into the home. But yeah,
Home.
so we got 4 games that we played this week to get a little taste for how the arcade could come into the home, and I would say one of these games I played a lot. One of these games I played a little bit. One of these games, maybe a couple times. And then one of these games really didn't exist because it was kind of a sequel. I think you're going to figure that one out pretty quick.
Maybe it's the one with a 2 after it.
Yeah, it's the one with the
Whoa.
2 after
Whoa.
it.
Stay tuned.
But let's go ahead and kick it off with Altered Beast.
Okay.
And we're going to kick it off with Altered Beast because this is a game that was... it came out in 1988 in the arcade. It came out basically the same exact time or shortly thereafter for the Sega Genesis. And it was the launch title. It was the pack-in game for the original Sega Genesis. And this is a game that not only had much better graphics than what you're, used to at home, but it also had, some basic speech synthesis.
Yeah.
So, it's Altered Beast. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up. And it was the director, game designer, took some notes from the Thriller music video, which was very popular at the time. Michael Jackson's Thriller. And just wanted to have that kind of a thing going on. So let's go ahead and kick it off, and you guys tell me what your impressions was of Altered Beast. Who wants to start it off?
I'll go ahead. So I usually, whenever I'm playing any kind of game, I'll just skip immediately through all the titles and everything. So I'm just pressing start until I get to the game. So I start playing, and I notice that the more you level up, the more naked you get. And I'm like,
That's my type of game.
I'm getting stronger, and I'm just wearing a loincloth. That's cool. And then I turned into a werewolf, and I was very confused. I was like, okay, this is the concept of the game. Got it. And then after going back to the title again, it's like, oh, it literally shows a wolf head or whatever, like a werewolf.
Right.
So, and then of course the game is called Altered Beast, so it makes sense. I just am illiterate. And so I played a little bit of it. I made it to the first boss a couple of times. Never beat the first boss, but thought he looked really weird, and thought it was weird that he threw heads. His heads would pop off.
He was like a smiling tree that would throw heads. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting mud monster vibes from him, like Clayface.
Okay. Yeah.
But my only note is that I hated the sound you make when you die. I thought it was weird.
Is that like the grumbly groan type thing?
Yeah. One of the other games we have has a very similar, if not identical, sound every time you get hit. It's very annoying.
So you didn't get to the second level?
Nope.
Oh, so you didn't get to see the cameo by one of the creatures from one of the other games we played?
Oh.
Nope.
Oh. All right. So how about you, Danny? How far did you get?
I also don't think I beat the first boss. But after a few times getting to the first boss, I got the hang of actually killing things because my timing is off and I kick and then they hit me 5 times.
I really wanted there to be an upward kick move.
There is.
I guess there is, but I wanted to be able to upward kick them while they punch. But I can never get close enough to do that. Because if I got any closer, I would just get hit by them. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to wait it out, and I'm too impatient for that.
So you're talking about the
ones that punch you.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do a duck punch for those.
Oh.
And as you get stronger, it only takes one duck punch to kill them.
Well, for the longest time, I didn't realize there was a third button that I could use. So I was just kicking. I was just kicking everything and then jumping. And then I was like, wait a second, I can also punch.
That's funny.
Now, did you know you could break the stone things?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, I wasn't really trying to, but I did accidentally probably do that.
Gotcha.
But those guys were easy to kill. They didn't touch you.
Right. No. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's monsters walking on top of them, and you can punch those things, break them up. The columns I'm talking about, so that you could
And then
bring
make them
them
fall.
down. Yeah, because you get the wolves that are kind of leaping at you, and if you don't time it right, they're gonna kind of leap past you or something.
Yeah. And then the blue wolves are the ones that give you the power up.
Yeah, I call them white, but they're kind of a white blue. But yeah, and if you get to the first boss and you're not completely converted to the wolf yet, I think it just keeps on going until you do. Like the first boss kind of like laughs at you and then disappears, and then you keep on going until you get fully buffed. I guess they don't want you to fight the first boss without.
Oh, that happened to me the first time I played.
Yeah, because once you get the wolf, you can shoot things like projectiles, right?
Yeah, and then you could also like dash through them.
Yeah, and that'd be a hard boss to beat if you can do those skills. But yeah, I got past the first boss. Got to the second level, and got up to the second boss. In the second level, you become a flying, I don't know, maybe like a wyvern or something. And you can.
You become it? You don't just stay a werewolf the whole time?
Nope. No, once you beat the first boss, the three little glowy ball things come out of your body. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to scrawny dude.
Oh.
I guess
Fully clothed?
I guess the clothes would go back on it. I'm not sure. There's probably not enough memory to have a different sprite, like a naked skinny dude. But yeah, so you go back and then you start the second level and you have to start over as a scrawny dude.
And you become a different monster?
Yeah, so like a flying wyvern thing, you shoot like electricity as a projectile. Whoa. And then the other button, instead of kick, you kind of glow with electricity. Whoa. So you can actually kill things as you're glowing.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then the second boss, you really need those because it's eyeballs. The second time, it just starts shooting eyeballs at you.
Oh.
And the eyeballs kind of project towards you, but not at full speed. They kind of almost like inchworm towards you in the air. So you have time to use your little static electricity thing and keep them out of your way and kind of zoom through them. But yeah, so this game, when it came out, it was kind of fascinating because, I mean, most games of the time, if you think about like Pac-Man again, you get a power-up and, yeah, you can eat ghosts. Wow, big deal. And then the power-up disappears. And this one, the power-up like makes you bigger and stronger, and then you get another power-up, makes you bigger and stronger and apparently more naked. And then you get a third power-up, and all of a sudden you've completely transformed into a new beast. And that was kind of fascinating for the time, that there wasn't other games like that where you could actually transform into a powerful beast. And it gives you that kind of like that dopamine hit of like, ooh, I'm getting more and more powerful. So it was a very popular game, and it made for a good pack-in. Now, I'd like to play that game 2-player with you guys sometimes, because you can have two scrawny naked guys walking around, punching things.
Wow.
And I think it doubles up the amount of wolves that come at you, so you can all get your power-ups. But it's one of those, here comes the power-up. Who's going to get it? And, do you let your buddy get it? Or do you go run after it and get it?
You get it.
Yeah. But yeah, so what do you think on a scale of 1 to 4? How does this one rank on you guys in the 4 games?
This one's my number 3.
I agree.
I think I'm right there with you. All right, so let's bring it on to number 4 then.
What, you think we all agree?
We're going to talk about Space Harrier II.
Yeah, that's my number 4.
So this came out in 1988, and it was a sequel to a 1985 arcade game. Now, let me describe the game first, and then I'm going to show you a picture. So the game is described as, I guess, a third-person, I don't know, shooter, maybe.
Yeah.
Where you're standing behind a guy that's running and or using his hover pack to, jet pack to fly through the air and shoot things. So you're in kind of a 3D perspective with very psychedelic colors happening all over the place.
The colors were visually. This game was really stunning.
Yeah, this was definitely a big leap in technology. I think it was basically a show-off move for the company. Originally, the designer wanted to make it a jet plane, like a fighter jet, and have a first-person fighter jet, but the technology wasn't quite there. Now, later, the same company, this Sega company, made a game that was a fighter jet, and it was an F-14 Tomcat. Very popular game because it came out about the same time as the Top Gun movie, which was using F-14 Tomcats. It had used the same controls, which, if you're using a joypad at home, you are not getting the full experience. So let me show you the full experience here. Sharing my screen. You see this right here?
Whoa.
Yeah.
So there was a stand-up version, and then this was a full, what they call a cockpit version. And I don't know if you can quite tell, but right here is a flight yoke. So just like a fighter pilot would have. So instead of using a joystick, you've got a full flight yoke with a trigger, trigger button. And on this particular version, this cockpit version, this thing was motorized. So as you were pulling back, it's pitching back. As you pull forward, it pitches forward. And then left and right, it's going to roll back and forth. So this is like full flight simulator type technology.
Wow.
In an arcade. This might have been one of the first games I remember being 50 cents, because I'm sure it was very expensive to upkeep, changing out servos and stuff. But yeah, so this type of flight yoke and everything made the controls of this game much, much better than what we experienced with the joypad at home.
That's crazy. That's one of my notes about this game.
Is the controls are bad?
The weird movement with the controller, and I took notes in my little notebook. I said,
nice.
This would be more enjoyable with a joystick or on the cabinet. Like I was thinking one of the spinny guys,
little rollerball,
the trackball.
I guess a trackball would be probably better, but I was just thinking about other games, like the one where you just have the dial that you spin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the way that this, the way that you interact with the bad guys or whatever, it starts off very much like a classic game like Galaga, where you can see the patterns, right? All the enemies are going to come out from the right, so you're going to pitch over to the right. You're just going to shoot like crazy and try to get them all before they show up on the screen, and then you go over to the left. So it's very, very similar to that. And it's all got predictable patterns as they come out and as they approach you and shoot you and stuff. So it's not like a full randomized AI type flight simulator. So once you play it a couple times, you get much and much better and much more efficient at it and get further into the game. And then again, the controller, like the way that they're shooting at you, and when it starts to get, I'll use the term bullet hell, when it starts to get bullet hellish, you can actually roll that controller around in circles so that you're hitting the far corners of the screen and just kind of evading everything and then jumping back in and shooting again. So you didn't get the full experience. Now, I said that this is the sequel to Space Harrier. I don't remember Space Harrier II being in the arcade. I think it was just the Space Harrier II is basically the port for Space Harrier.
Oh.
And
okay.
I think the graphics probably were close but not perfect. This is probably one of those when we talked yesterday or last week about the System 16 board that had 2 processors on it, and when they made it for the home, they only used 1 processor. This is probably one of those deals where they had to cut some corners on the graphics. But we'll definitely, next time we go to one of those big arcades, see if we can find this game and let you guys play it the right way.
For sure.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So
I just felt a little slow and not able to move.
Yeah. I was just bad at it.
But I did beat the first boss.
Yeah.
So, the little turtle guy.
Oh yeah.
I noticed
he was
that
actually
he was
pretty
weird.
easy.
He was like, you would shoot his heads, but he also shot his heads at you. That's weird. But you're flying around, and I noticed he would always like send a really, really fast one to the like bottom right part of the screen or something. At least when I was playing against him. So I was like, well, why is that one super duper fast? And I'm like always over there. I'm like always over there trying to shoot his head. But then I figured out the pattern and beat him. And then ran into the weird, not trees, the totem poles, I guess, on the next one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first one you can shoot through them, and the second one you can't.
Yeah. Learned that the hard way.
How about you, Danny? Not your favorite?
Yeah, it was hard. I didn't get very far. And, like, sometimes I would, like, something would get shot at me, and I would, like, phase through it, but then other times I wouldn't even be close, and then it would hit me.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I play it more, it would get easier.
Cool. All right, so our third game. This is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Outrun.
Yeah.
So Outrun.
This is my number one.
Outrun came in the craze of supercars. So it is actually branded that you're driving a Ferrari Testarossa. I don't know if you recognize that.
I noticed there was a logo. I just didn't know what the logo was.
Yeah, so you got the little bucking horse. That's the Ferrari logo. It's probably one of the first games that I remember that has the trope of you've got a girlfriend that's going to be upset with you if you don't drive fast enough. There's some other games like the cruising games, I think, had the girls at the finish line and stuff. This is a game at the arcade that would be either a stand-up or sit down with 2 pedals, a gear shifter, and a steering wheel. And if you think about the games that probably came before this, Pole Position and Turbo and games like that, that would be, that steering wheel is really just a spinner, right? It just spins completely. And think about the like the off-road game that we play at the arcade that I always beat all your butts real bad.
Yep.
All right.
You know, that thing just spins, right? Which is perfectly good if you're going around tight corners and doing crazy kind of, arcade stunts like that. But for a game that you want a little bit more fine control of, they used what's called a 270 steering wheel. So instead of being a spinner, which is just really just an encoder wheel, an optical encoder wheel, just like a mouse uses, it's unlimited and it just knows what direction the thing is spinning and how fast it's spinning. The 270 uses a potentiometer, variable resistor, and it uses a spring-centered steering wheel, and it will rotate 135 degrees to the right and or to the left, and then it recenters.
Oh.
So it gives you, it's not full force feedback, but it does give you the sense that you're using a steering wheel and not a spinner, and it gives you a little bit more fine control because you can do slight turns, little tiny turns, and then it recenters itself. And then on top of that, this particular game had a rumble function so that when you crashed and or went off the road, the steering wheel would start shaking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So this one is at our local arcade. It's over by the pinball machines.
Really?
And sometimes the steering wheel feels really nice and tight, and sometimes it's really rattly. And that just means that people have been abusing it. But when it's nice and tight, it's an unbelievable experience to be able to do this game with a real steering wheel. And for that reason, it was one of my favorites growing up, going to the arcades. If any arcade had Outrun, I had to drop a quarter in it. And I always used the same song. And it was a great experience. So go ahead and tell us, Danny, your experience with Outrun this time.
This is the one I played the most, but probably the one I got most frustrated with, as Dad saw. But I really liked it. I only got through, like, the first 3 checkpoints. 'Cause I kept crashing. But it was really fun. It's a fun, frustrating.
Yeah, I think the first level you can crash once and still finish, but on any of the other ones, if you crash, you're not gonna beat the timer.
Mm-hmm.
And this game, again, probably a lot easier to control at the arcade because you could upshift. So when you're going into a tight turn, instead of braking or taking your foot off the pedal, which I don't think Danny did either, she just
I eventually did.
you could upshift, which would keep your engine going strong, but it would slow you down to about the same speed as the other cars around you, and then downshift when you get to the straightaway again. And so it was a lot easier to do with an arcade, where that shifter, it's just a high-low shifter just to the right of the steering wheel, where you could do that. Now, I did map one of my trigger buttons. I mapped my right trigger button to the high-low switch.
Wow.
So I was able to, try that out to see if it helped any, and it helped a little bit. But how about you, Amber?
Oh, I loved this one.
Yeah.
This was my favorite this week. Well, when I first started, I texted you. I was like, how do I beat this? Because, like, I'm getting right to the end every single time consistently without making it. I'm running out of time. And I even, like, switched it to easy for, like, a little bit more time. And it was, like, still, I was getting... It would take me to the map afterwards, and I would, like, the red would fill all the way up, but not get me to the next checkpoint.
Right.
And you're like, oh... well, you can shift to a higher gear. And I was like, oh, that would have been nice to know. but because I was just cruising. I'm like, I'm having a good time.
Your girlfriend was probably like, step on it.
No, she's just chilling because she's safe. We're not getting in crashes. But then once I started using the gear shift, I made it pretty far. I made it maybe to, like, the 4th section. I would, like, just go right every time because that was, like, easier to do than going left every time. I did, like, go left a couple of times just to see what that looked like, but no, I would make it to the checkpoint and then use a save state just so I could like learn the level and experience it. I did accidentally make the mistake of saving over a save state, like, the farthest I got, and I was like, oh, oops. But I really liked this one, and I thought the music was really good. I don't know if I listened to all of the songs, but of the ones that I listened to, I think just the default one was my favorite.
Oh, okay. Sound Splash or something like that?
Yeah, but I thought it was really pretty.
Yeah, I liked how each checkpoint had, like, a different biome.
Yeah, you could go through, like, the farms, through the mountains. I thought crashing was really funny.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this girlfriend still with me if I've crashed the car 5 times?
Yeah, the bodies, like, fly out of the car as the car is rolling down the road, and then 2 seconds later...
And then you just, like, rub your head, and you're like, okay, I'm good. Ready, let's go.
Yeah.
Get back in.
Yep. So my favorite song was one track over to the left. And it's like Musical Sound Machine or something like that. Magical Sound Machine.
Yeah.
And I could hum you that whole song right now. I've heard it so many times that it's just burned in my brain. And great memories playing that game. I can tell you the arcades and where they were in my hometown that had this game, because I knew, if I went to that arcade, I was going to be playing that game.
Oh.
But yeah, super cool. And that game has had several sequels over the years. They had another one called Outrunners.
I can't imagine it gets better than that, though.
Yeah. I mean, this is a 1986 game that it took several years. It took till 1991 to become on the Genesis, so it wasn't a quick port. So it was a pretty good. It's a pretty good port.
I thought it was pretty easy to control. I was just kind of like playing Subway Surfers, like pretty much.
That's what your mom said. It looks like Subway Surfers, but with a car.
Yeah.
She did say that.
I'm like, oh, that's a good idea for a game. All right. So everybody liked Outrun. That makes me happy. And that leaves us with one game left, and that is Golden Axe from 1989. Another Sega famous game. This ended up on. Remember, I said that I bought the Genesis probably in 91 or 92, which came with a 6-pack. They called it the 6-pack, which was one cartridge that had 6 games on it. Golden Axe is one of those games. So it came with Sonic, Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, I think Revenge of Shinobi, which is another very famous arcade game that was ported to Sega, and I spared you guys that one because it's notoriously hard.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to frustrate you out the gate on RetroSeptembo with Revenge of Shinobi. But we'll have to go back, and I've got another game for you that you might like that's got a dog in it called Shadow Dancer or something like that. A lot of ninja games in the 80s. So Golden Axe. This is a game, another side-scrolling beat-em-up. Very popular for this age. A great game to play 2-player in the arcade if you could. Each player gets to pick one of 3 characters. You got an Amazon, like a barbarian type thing, and a little elf. And
He's an elf?
dwarf? I'm sorry, dwarf.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry to all the elves
like
out
a
there.
Keebler elf?
So you pick them, and they do have different stats, if you will, and they do have different specialties. And I don't know if you notice how many of you played through, but if you notice that the magic levels were different on them.
Oh, like your maximum magic?
Yeah, so like I think the Amazon, it took like 4 magic potions to fill up your number 1, and then all the ones after that were just 1 potion to get to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then some of the other ones were shorter, but they didn't get as far. So I think she's the best one if you want to do magic. She's got the most powerful spells. But yeah, so you pick a character, and it's got a little story at the beginning. People have died. The king and princess has been kidnapped by the Death Adder, and it's your job to go defeat the Death Adder and bring back the king and princess. But you're not going to bring back your friend Jeff or whatever his name was.
What? I skipped right past that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used the Amazon for my playthrough, and she's like, my friend, and it was a very American, like modern American name. My friend Kevin was killed by the Death Adder. I'm like,
Maybe it was one.
it's definitely a Japanese game designer that said, oh, they'll have to relate to a very American name, so we'll pick one of these. But yeah, so what'd you guys think of Golden Axe?
I thought it was cool that you could pick different characters.
Yeah.
And I liked it better than Altered Beast. It was, similar vibes, but more of what I'm used to, because you can walk up and down also. But there's something about kicking those little magic goblins that was really satisfying.
If they would just stand still.
Right, you had to chase them, but once you got them, man, it was fun to kick them. I also played as the I guess the Amazon lady. I did the beginner mode, the tutorial, I guess. It was just like 2 levels.
Oh, yeah, yep.
The first 2 stages.
And the enemies are much easier.
Oh, well, I played through that, and then it gave me a rating. I got D rating.
Oh.
Because I guess I used a lot of lives. But then I went through and I just like started again as the other characters to see what their magic did. So yeah, I thought it was cool. The guy had like little bombs, and then the dwarf had like Thor powers. So.
Oh yeah. So here's I've got it pulled up here. Here's the backstory of the 3 characters.
Oh.
You got the dwarf, Gilius Thunderhead.
That's a good name.
He's from the mines of Woolud, and his twin brother was killed by the soldiers of the Death Adder. So I guess his story, that's what he says at the beginning. Another is a male barbarian. His name is Axe Battler.
Yeah.
He wields a two-handed broadsword. So his name is Axe Battler, and he carries a sword.
That's funny. He battles axes.
I guess Gilius Thunderhead stole his axe from him. He's looking for revenge for the murder of his mother.
Oh.
Wow.
And the last is a longsword-wielding Amazon named Tyrus Flare, whose parents were killed by the Death Adder. But I don't know if maybe the wording for the arcade version is different than the wording in the port, because mine didn't say parents. I'm pretty sure it said like Jeff or something.
Jeff.
But yeah, so this is one of those games where you have to learn your enemies and you have to learn how to attack them and how best to defeat them, and in some cases using the environment to defeat them. Like, I don't know if you noticed on like the flying turtle stage or something, or no, definitely on the flying bird stage. If you had someone coming after you and their path is just going to come right towards you, and if you kind of duck down towards the edge, they would try to follow you and they would just walk right off the edge of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you could do the same thing if you kicked or threw them, you could throw them off the edge. That way the battle goes a lot quicker than having to kick them 800 times before they finally
One thing I liked about this game was the little Yoshis that you got to ride. Like, if they came in with the little big beasts, then you could kick them off and then take them.
Yep. So the first one that you saw, which had kind of the whipping tail.
Yeah.
So that was the cameo that was in Altered Beast.
I don't remember that.
So in the second level of Altered Beast, that shows up.
That's cool.
Yeah, three different mounts. The whipping tail one, the just breathing fire one, and then the fireball spitting one.
I liked the tail whipping one better than the fire breathing one, because the fire breathing one was harder to knock them off of, because I felt like I would like wait for it to breathe fire and nothing would happen, and then I'd go up to punch it and then it would breathe fire at me. And I'm like, what is your timer? Is your timer just IB here? What?
What'd you think, Danny?
I liked it too. I liked the little Yoshi boys, but every time I would knock one off, I would get on and they would just knock me off too.
Yeah.
So, but I would just sprint kick everyone.
Sprint kick?
Yeah.
What's a sprint kick?
Oh.
What?
She had a little inside information.
What's a sprint kick?
Once I learned how to sprint kick, it was easy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure once I learned how to sprint kick, I didn't have more fun too.
Maybe that's why I
way
got
to
a
beat
D
the
rating.
game. No way to beat the game without sprint kicking. So yeah, if you double tap either right or left, you start to run, and then you can attack jump.
It's got Minecraft running.
And if you get two big bads, like the big knight sword dudes or the big giant guys.
Yeah.
If you get them equal distance on either side of you and you're in the center of the screen, just sprint kick right, sprint kick left.
That's what I was doing.
Kick left. And it takes forever because that attack isn't as strong as if you hit them with a sword or something. I guess, obviously, right?
Right.
I guess.
But if you keep the timing just right, it becomes like a rhythm game. If you get your rhythm off
that's
a little
fun.
bit, they're gonna
done.
knock you out. But yeah, that's definitely the key to a lot of these boss fights.
You need to give us a controller guide, a controls guide next time we play these.
Answer me this: the first time that you played the game, did you immediately launch your magic?
Yes.
Me too.
Didn't I do that too?
Well,
Yep.
I was burned by the other games not knowing what the buttons did, so I'm like, okay, this is attack, cool. This is jump, cool. Oh, this is my magic power, cool.
Right.
Now I have to get it back.
Yep.
Yeah, then I had to fight the boss with no magic.
Oof. I was jump kicking a bunch of people. So, I
If only
figured
you
that
could
one out by
sprint.
myself.
Yeah, and there's other places like when you get to some of the levels that have the steps. You know, I even said to myself, "I have the higher ground, Anakin." There's one particular one where there's like 3 steps going up, and the skeletons are coming at you, and they jump to get up, and you just slice them down each time.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's a good game because it's, I don't know, like 6 or 7 stages long. It's one of those.
Also, it's not that long.
So this is the classic, like, arcade game that you go to the arcade, you drop a quarter in, and you see how far you can get, right? And then depending on how far you get, maybe you drop another coin in. And if you're playing with your buddy and he's still alive, you're kind of tempted to drop a quarter in to help him out. And then as you're fighting through your 3 lives or whatever and you die, he's going to drop another quarter. So they definitely had psychologists help them out with this game to keep the quarters coming. And you want to see how far you can get, and you want to see, you know, where the end is. And it's got one of those overland maps in between levels, so you know where you're at, so you know where the castle is that you have to get to. So you're like, oh, I'm so close, I need to drop another couple quarters in. So this game is definitely a quarter eater. So now you take this thing and you bring it home, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you take this game and bring it home, and mom and dad just spent, I don't know, $20, $30, $40 on this game, and if you just kept on hitting the continue button and you played through the whole game in 20 minutes because you kept on hitting the continue button, then, oh, I beat the game. Uh-oh. You know, what do I do now? So that's why they put the limited lives on there and the limited continues. You know, you can only get, 3 or 2 continues, so 3 full lives. And it forces you to get better at the game so that you don't beat the game on your first playthrough.
That's smart.
Yeah. But you learn the stages, you learn the enemies, you learn their weaknesses, you learn that there's a sprint kick.
Yep.
Eventually. and yeah, you make it worth the, you know, I don't know what would be cheaper. I guess it'd be cheaper just to go to the arcade and drop $5 in quarters in it.
Yeah.
But the replayability, you know, invite your friends over, do some 2-player Golden Axe at home. You know, even if you've already beat the game, it's still a fun game. I've read in some of the forums that this is like one of their all-time games, you know, someone's favorite game, that they've beat it so many times, but they still keep on loading it up. So kudos to the game designers on this one. You did a good job putting something together that is evergreen.
And you don't sound completely hideous when you get hit or die. So thank you for that also.
Yep. They do use a little bit of speech synthesis in there for the screams and stuff. As I was playing, and as you're playing the female and you die, your mom was like, "What is happening over there?" She's
no.
like, "Ah!" She's like, "What is going on over there?" But yeah, fun game. So, which one did you say that you made it all the way through, Amber, or you saw somebody make it all the way through?
Outlast. Outrun.
Outrun? Okay.
Outlast. That's a different
Good
game. That's different.
Nice. That's good. I save scummed my way all the way through Golden Axe.
Nice.
Wow.
And there was sometimes that it was like you try 50 different things at this save point and nothing gets you past. Because when you start off and there's like one enemy, no problem. When there's 2 enemies, okay, as soon as you start punching the one guy, the other guy comes up behind you and ganks you. Mm-hmm. When it starts getting like 3 and 4, it's just mad chaos. You have to
Good
find
luck.
exactly the right way. You have to like sprint to the far right, let them come after you, sprint to the far left, and then start picking them off one by one. But
I think it's funny how it's like, oh, you have to make it to the end and you have to save all the people. And then you're just like walking so slowly, just casually. It's like you're just strutting.
now, if you make it all the way to the end in roll credits, it has all the credits. And then after the credits, it has every enemy by name and their stats, height, weight,
Whoa.
and it gives them like power rankings on their attack and movement are the two categories. So it'd be like the first guy that you meet is like an attack D and movement D. And then when you get, most of the way through the game, you've got attack A, movement A. And it's kind of neat. You see the stats of all of them. It even shows you the 3 mounts. And then it shows you the stats. Well, it shows you the stats of the 3 characters. And one funny thing to point out on that, it's got like the barbarian. He's like 6'4", 230 kilos or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the dwarf is like 4'2", 180 kilos. And then the girl's like 5'6", weight, ?
Wait, it actually?
Yeah. Like, we're not guessing on that one. We get in trouble.
Never ask a lady her weight.
That's right. But then even funnier than that, it's got the stats for the villagers. So did you get to the point where the villagers run screaming? And there's female villagers and male villagers. They're like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, they are. That's funny.
So it's got all the stats, all the bosses. The 3 bosses that you meet are Death Adder Jr. and Death Adder, and then I forget what the last one is.
Death Adder isn't the last one?
No, there's a surprise.
Whoa.
Yeah. But this game had a lot of sequels, like constantly coming out over different systems, and it was just very popular and great game.
Good stuff.
All right, so any final thoughts on our arcade ports? I'll take that as a no. There was so many to pick from. I hope I picked a couple notable ones that you guys will remember forever. And hopefully as we go and visit arcades, as we enjoy doing, you'll be like, ooh, there's that game. There's
that game that I hate.
Yeah. Space Harrier, that would be very rare. Like, I only saw that a couple times, so it'd be pretty rare if we run into that one, especially a cockpit version one. But who knows? Maybe we'll find one somewhere out in the wild.
One day.
Did they ever put Crystal Castles on the Sega Genesis?
I don't remember. I remember that was on the Nintendo for sure, which is odd because you're using a 4-way D-pad instead of a trackball. That would be
hard.
Yeah, there was no real home trackballs back then.
Oh.
Dang it.
But yeah, good time. So next week we've got Disney games.
Ooh.
I won't tell you which ones yet, but stay tuned till next episode. You'll find out what games we played. There are so many. And this system was famous for making Disney games popular, or I don't know if it's the other way around. Maybe the Disney games made this system popular as well. But there are so many notable Disney related games on this Sega Genesis.
Made by Sega?
No, not made by Sega, but just made like there's one that is going to be on the all-time list of Sega games every time you see a list.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 0.4479. No,
when did Kingdom Hearts come around?
The cartridges weren't big enough to have the full title of any Kingdom Hearts game that we know of. They have like 20-word titles. But yeah, we'll have some fun with some Disney this week. We'll come back next week with an episode to tell you what we played. And we'd like to hear from you about what you're playing. Hopefully our listeners are following along with RetroSeptembo, playing some Sega games. If you did, if you played any of these, let us know. If not, if you played something else, let us know. podcast@familygeekery.com. Hit us up. Let us know. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Go ahead and check out our socials, see what's going on there. Check out our YouTube channel. see what's going on there too. And we thank you as always for listening. And until next time, peace out.
Peace out.
And geek out.
Thank you for listening to the Family Geekery podcast. For more information, visit www.familygeekery.com. Don't forget to subscribe at your favorite podcast provider. And until next time, peace out and geek out.